This catalog mailing package includes a pristine 1968 Estes catalog, a postcard to introduce a friend of model rocketry, a note that explains our switch to the metric system for engine performance parameters, and a Rocketeer's Guide to Avoid Suicide. It's an interesting topic. It also has a sheet signed by Lita using a red Sharpie, introducing the new K-35 Astron Constellation. There is the packet. I'm not going to open the package. Okay, I'm going to start bidding at this $25. That's $25. I got 25. Do I hear 30? 30. I've got 30. Do I hear 35? 35. I got 35. Do I hear 40? I have 40. Do I hear 45? 45. I got 40, 45. I got 45. Do I hear 50? So Vern's going to present the next item.
This is a replica catalog number 261. Now, this is reproduced based on a catalog that I bought on eBay, and I paid $850 to buy my own catalog for 25 cents. Now, I have written a description of this item in my handwriting. It says, from the desk of Vern and Estes. And the note reads, this rocket supply catalog number 261 is a replica of the Denver edition of our first full Estes Industries catalog, and includes in addition Astron Space Scout Flyer. Just like the original, it was stitched along with fold by Lita on her own sewing machine. As indicated on the cover, she stitched it on December 29th, 2014. The original was produced around July 1961, and then I've signed it Vern. So this has a handwritten note with it. Now I'm including the type note also because my handwriting isn't very good. So
thank you, Vern. Okay, so
for 20 years of service to Estes Industries. It has since remained in my desk drawer with only occasional use for signing important papers and documents. Both pen and pencil remain fully functional with no refills or changes.
so I am.
Certainly will be my last, and I appreciate all of you being with us, your friendship and everything. Thank you very much.
Way to start on bidding.
Trying to decide. Thank you very much.
Rockets. We call it the 29 millimeter school rocket. And I got together with Rocketry, and he contacted me. And he wanted to do a dual deploy kit. And I said, well, Chris, you can buy my kit and do a custom payload bay. And that's what happened. He designed the payload bay. Okay, so I sell him the kit for the basic rocket. And then I also manufacture them for the payload bay. And then I'm going to kind of take this as awkward, maybe to set this microphone down, but I'm going to very quickly disassemble the payload bay so you can see the electronics inside. It uses some little snap parts.
Gotta watch out because those the snap things are easy to lose.
Yeah, there's 4 of them. Okay. Here's the actual dual deploy electronics bay. It's got 3D printed ejection wells where you put the charges in. Okay. Then there's a couple of wing nuts that we're going to unscrew here. And it falls out. If any of you are familiar with egg timer electronics, this one is your typical, you build it, but this one uses just through-hole parts. Chris designed that specifically for ease of build. So it's an entire kit. You build the rocket, you build the electronics, everything. As you can see, it comes apart fairly easily and quickly. He designed it to use a standard 9-volt rectangular battery. Of course, there's plenty of room if you wanted to put a light bulb in there. Got terminal blocks on each end. Comes complete with everything that you need. The only thing you've got to buy is, of course, the motor, the ejection charge itself, and the electric matches to set it off. But this complete kit, he sells for just $99. It's a complete dual, but it even includes the parachute. And my base kit with the 29mm rocket doesn't include a parachute. So he's got a price point that I think is difficult for anyone to beat. So if you ever think, if you're not in dual deploy and you want to get an entry-level kit to get into it, this is the one to try. Now, if you're just looking for a plain old 29mm kit, I've got some of these kits available on the field for an unlimited quantity that I brought. This trip to NARAM, I have so much product, I just brought motors. I did not have the time or energy to load everything up, nose cones, body tubes. So those things you have to buy online. In fact, I delivered quite a few pre-orders for odds and ends like that. It comes in 2 flavors, the 29mm kit, well, the 3-inch rocket. One is the 29mm, and there's another version that has a 24mm. Run over there and grab my price list. Wait a minute. This is portable. Here's the 24mm version, and it sells for, normally on the internet, we're selling it for $23.95. I've got a limited number here available for $20. So if you want to see me on the range, pull those out. The 29mm version normally sells for $29.95. I've got a limited number for $25. And then there is the old, the old classic school rocket. And this one we sell online for $6.95 in bulk pack format. The bulk pack, it looks like this, a bag of parts, a tube, and regardless of the number you buy, you get one set of instructions. Typically, these kits are used in group build sessions where the instructor has the instructions and just passes out the tubes and the bags to the kids. There's also a payload bay available for it without the electronics. And I have some of those. I think those are $12. And then I have odds and ends that you can buy online, centering rings, engine hooks, those types of things. Any questions?
there two chutes or one chute if they don't deploy?
It's one chute, and it's a drogless separation, and then it comes down on one chute. It's a very long shock cord. I think it's, if you remember, there's 12 feet, I think, 750-pound test Kevlar. So you don't have any problem with zippering or anything like that. Yeah.
You could just throw on a 12-inch drogue
I
into
mean,
the
sure,
one.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can put on anything you want, but that's just the way Chris designed the kit. I don't, you can't order the dual deploy kit from my website, even though I make all the parts. It's all OEM'd over to Chris Irving at Egg Timer. And so he sells the actual $99 kit.
It does require you to sacrifice 2 light bulbs of a Christmas lights in order to test it. So you need old school non-LED ones.
What is that?
Just so you can test the dual deploy,
Oh,
make sure that
yeah.
it's all working.
That's true. Yeah, you should test it beforehand.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right. Can everybody hear me? All right. Thanks everyone for sticking around after the auction and for supporting the NAR at the auction. For those of you who I haven't met, I'm Mallory Langford. I'm the president of Estes, and this is Ellis Langford. He is our chief technology officer. I just want to take a quick second here at the beginning to give you a short update about what's going on at Estes, and then Ellis will do the exciting part and talk a little bit about what we've got coming out in the next few months. I want to start, of course, with a big thank you for all of your business over the past year, and especially for your engagement with the brand. We, of course, appreciate you guys purchasing rockets, but one of the things that's most important to us about our NAR customers is the really valuable feedback and engagement we get from each and every one of you on the brand and on our products. One of the most important examples of this recently has been, for the longest time, we apparently had a broken form on our website, which we never knew about until you all brought it up on the forums. And we never would have known if we hadn't read that there. So without that kind of engagement, we really would not have been able to find that out. And I have no idea how many customers had information lost in the ether without you guys raising that issue. So that kind of engagement on things like mess reports, reporting incidents to customer service is super, super valuable to us as a business and of course as a hobby. Which brings me to my next point. Most of you have probably seen on our website that we have issued a product bulletin on certain batches of our C11 and D12 motors. We've done a lot of looking into this recently and have traced the problem back to some defective engine casings. We received essentially a bad lot of casings from one of our casing suppliers. Basically what's happened is that a supplier that we had used for a really long time sold the business to a private equity company, and that went, as many sales to private equity sadly goes. There have been continued and growing issues with quality and supply from the new owner, where they have essentially lost the trail of how to make engine casings, which unfortunately we are now suffering the consequences for. We've been actively working this for several months now, and have a few really positive solutions in the works. Our Director of Quality and Safety is flying out actually tomorrow morning to meet with a supplier we've been onboarding for the past year. Heidi Muckenthaler, my GM, and I are flying out Sunday to meet with another supplier who we've been onboarding to check on their progress. But I just bring this up because, again, when we're looking at your engagement and your inputs, I just want to flag this because I know that you guys will see higher than normal out of stocks on motors over the next few months as we work through these issues. And I just say that because we're super committed to bringing you guys the very best in motor quality, and not just, you know, our casings are really aerospace products. They're not just cardboard tubes that you use to wrap paper towels around, right? Not just anybody can make what we make. So getting this right is super important, not only for a quality flight experience, but also a safe flight experience. And not just for the people in this room, but also for the kids that so many of us work with and mentor in the hobby. So we're working really hard to get through this. Like I said, we're going to be kind of in and out of stock over the next couple months, but we've got a really good lead. So that's kind of the tough news at Estes. But for those of you who made it out to the campus yesterday for a tour or to celebrate GLIDA, we've got a lot of really positive stuff going on out there too, including some great new products. So I'll pass you over to Ellis and have him talk to you guys about that. And hopefully have a few minutes for questions at the end.
Thanks, Mallory. So as you all can see, we have a few products that have released either very recently or in one case tonight, actually. Which we'll start with that. That's the Saturn V. That'll be available on the field tomorrow at our pop-up shop. I know a few of you might have bought it. We started selling them on this weekend, but and then it'll be available on our website. So this is the best Saturn V Estes has built. This is roughly the 6th version of it, and it has all the updates that we applied to the Skylab from a couple of years ago, and a few more updates, particularly around the capsule. Our designer John Warren built a few, started cursing the previous designer, and fixed some problems. So, let's see, we've got the other thing that I think will be of interest is these two, the Nike Smoke and the Athena H. The Nike Smoke is available now, and the Athena H will be out at the end of the month. These are Pro Series scale kits, and if you want to see what Athena H is supposed to look like, I don't know how many of you were here, got a chance to look in the scale data room for the U.S. team fly-offs, but one of the senior competitors, Randall Mosby, built an absolutely beautiful Athena H, slightly larger than this one, but he really, really did a good job, and really, and he's planning to build another one. So keep your eyes on Sport Rocketry for next year, and we'll have more pictures of that. The space shuttle has been released. This is our newest ready to fly. We call those flying desk models. They look great in the box. They look great. If you pull them out, they have a display stand, and people in this room will actually fly them. But a lot of the engineers and other people try to sell this to a lot of people that are space enthusiasts. So tell your friends. This is goes with it's the same scale as the Saturn V and the SLS. Then we've got a series of mini rockets that will fly in small fields in both launch sets and bagged kits. The Star Hopper has been out for a little while, but we've got some launch sets. And then a pair of new education bulb packs. These are snapped together, no glue rockets, so they're excellent for beginners and school classrooms, things like that. And the is $5 a piece. They're only available for Estes. I think that covers the rockets we have. This one is, I believe it's 1 to 18. Yes, sir.
The Athena H and the Nike Smoke Pro Series, they fly on 29 millimeter motors,
Yes, sir.
and those are currently all out of stock. So,
Yes, sir.
So what's the availability time estimate?
We're working on it.
Soon.
Yeah.
I wish I had a date to give you, but I don't want to give you a date that I can't commit to. And right now, I don't have a date to commit to other than soon. But we're working on it. That's not a mistake. That's a case.
Could they be flown with the 29, 24 millimeter conversion, or are they too heavy for that?
No, they fly on that. They'll fly on a D12. They don't go very far. The E12s they do okay. Yeah. Yes.
I noticed a recent change in the small, into the 18 millimeter engine packaging. You've gotten rid of the bubble plastic and the cardboard, and you've gone to a plastic. Is that just purely an economy move? Was there a reason for it?
Yes.
Do you mean the bags?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. A couple of reasons for the switch to the bags. So partially it is directed to cost, but the other thing is that we think it's also a better kind of user experience. You're getting less sort of trash on the field. If you're opening a blister pack, right, you open the blister pack and then you can't use it again, right? You've got the plastic part, you've got the backer card, you've got all the pieces, and you can't store them anywhere else. Now, you all, of course, experienced Rocketeers, have great range kits and good ways to store them, and probably are smart enough to open them at home. Not everyone is as savvy as you all. So we think it's a really good user experience to have the bag where you can just open it up, store what you don't use back in the bag. And we've got some pretty good feedback from that too.
Okay, quick follow-up, is that going to expand to the larger motors too?
We are planning to, yes. Yeah.
And what's the decision to go from 3 of the E12s to 2? Like, you get a pack of 2 of the E12s now.
Yeah, I mean, that's mostly for shipping ease and storage ease, and being able to fit them on retail shelves as well.
Please repeat the question.
Oh, okay.
Ask.
Sure. There was a question on why we moved from blister packs for the engine, so our old retail packaging, to engine bags, and then also why we moved from 3 E12s in a pack to 2 E12s in the pack, and that is because the E12s being longer don't fit in the same size bag as the 18 millimeters.
So you'll be able to ship the E12s from EstesRockets.com?
Yes. Yeah.
I was wondering if on the wraps for the 75, have they been corrected? I know there was an issue with them in an earlier production run. Has that been resolved?
Have the wraps on the Saturn V been corrected?
Yes. They're still, they're vacuum-formed wraps, and so they're a little bit larger than they should be, but they are as correct as we can get them within the limits of our tooling.
Because there was in the previous production run, they didn't pick up correctly when they...
Correct. Yeah, we fixed that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
One on your Cosmic Ray and Cosmic Carbon, 3% your bulk packs, will they be available as singles?
Yes, they will. I thought I had one, but I don't actually have one, but they'll be in bags. So you can buy any number.
So we're patient, but it'll take several months for the E22 recall for us to get those filled in?
Yes. So when we originally put out the E22 recall, we put out a lead time of 120 days. And that's, we gave ourselves a wide margin because, the most important thing to us was not to overpromise. We didn't want to come back and say, oh, we'll get it to you in 3 weeks and not be able to meet that date. I think we're going to be able to get motors to everybody who put in under the product bulletin in less than 120 days, and we're making those motors now. But yeah.
So I should probably add that it's important when you submit the form that you get an email back saying what the ticket number is.
Yes, yes. So if you have put in a form on the website and you have not received an email back with your ticket number, please resubmit your form. And if anyone has any issues, please feel free to reach out to me directly, mlangford@estesrockets.com. You can reach out to me directly, mlangford@estesrockets.com. Happy to help get you to the right place.
One last item, the rail launcher that you operate for cart. I bought one and showed it to my team, and 3 of 4 teams bought one. Excellent. That was a very good one.
Just a comment that the rail launcher for the TARP teams is well done, which thank you very much. And that was the goal, was that it would be a good fit for TARP teams, and I'm glad that
It's also lightweight enough to, it's easily transported.
and that it's lightweight and easily. I need you to come write coffee for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Dixon. Not Dixon, oh my gosh. Hunziker. I've got Scott's on break. Oh, sorry, Scott.
There will be, those rails are going to be used on the NARAM range.
And the rails will be used.
Once a week, so you're welcome to come look at it.
Thanks, Scott.
Do you have any for sale in the pop-up store at all?
I do not think we were bringing them to the pop-up store, no. They're big boxes. But EstesRockets.com.
There were 2 of them today.
Oh, were there?
Today.
Okay, great. There were 2 out there, at least.
Yeah.
Kelly surprises me every time. Any other questions we can answer about Estes?
We launched the shuttle out there in the back of the property. Worked great.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sell better on eBay than they do through my website. So that's what I'm doing, and I've got a lot of other things that I'm working on. But as a newspaper publisher, which is what I do for a living, and as a writer, which is how I met Vernon, I publish books too. And I have a book here, and it has nothing to do with model rocketry, but it has everything to do with inspiration. It's called The Story of the Boy Who Could Fly. And this is about a boy that just realizes he can put his arms out and he can fly. And I have a book here that I autographed for Vernon.
Go, Tim.
Okay, thank you all for being here, and thank you, Vern, for everything you've done for the hobby. I kind of based Apogee components on what Estes did. So like you were earlier tonight, you were talking about when you did all the technical reports, that was my first product. I said, if I'm going to be in this business, I got to do something that Vern did, is to try to re-educate customers. So thank you so much for what you've done. It's been a busy year at Apogee. Last year, our goal was to do 12 rockets, 1 a month, and it was a challenge. And we've got a new designer, and he cranked them out 1 a month, and that was a lot. So this year we decided let's instead of doing volume of new rockets, let's try to do something that's a little bit more challenging, not only for us as Apogee, but challenging for customers. Because we think that hobbyists want to grow in their abilities. So this year, we're doing something a little bit different. But before I talk about that, let me talk about some of the other things that Apogee does. Not only are we a manufacturer of rocket kits, but we also sell other companies' rocket products. We sell Estes, we sell Aerotech, we sell North Coast Rocketry, we sell the Featherweight Electronics. We've got some new stuff coming out from Valkyrie Parachutes. They're another Colorado company based in Grand Junction on the western side of the state. So that's coming in the next couple of weeks that we're excited about. He's got some really nice stuff. We also have the Estes Pro Series pad, if anybody needs that. We have that in stock. This year, we kind of started out with, or last year we finished up with a new 3-inch diameter nose cone that we had made, and the first product that we came out with was called the Kronos. It was based on that 3-inch nose cone. And then we came out with the Catalyst, which I think it was either in December or early January. Also a 29 millimeter diameter rocket. Or 29 millimeter motor mount diameter, 3-inch diameter nose cone. Just simple rockets, but they've been really popular because it's a nice size and they can fly on such a variety of motors. You can fly them on, almost 100 different rocket motors, all 29 millimeter, including the Estes E16 and the F-15s. Our next product that's using that 3-inch nose cone is, this is going to be a 2-stage rocket, 29 millimeter diameter in both stages, and it's going to require electronics in it to ignite the upper stage. So this is going to be a little bit more challenging, but we think that customers want that little bit of extra challenge. They've done their L1 certification. We've had so many people do their L1s using our Zephyr kit, which is a 4-inch diameter kit. So then what's next? They want something simple, but yet stylish and easy to fly, and they want the experience. When you fly a 2-stage rocket, it's incredible. So this is called the Invicta, and it will be out. This is going to be our next release. We kind of had to put it off a little bit because of NARAM. NARAM's we're only like 40, 50 miles up the road, so we had to come to NARAM. Mm-hmm. So we had to get ready for it. We've been flying all the events. So this will be out hopefully, mid to late September. We still have to do the instructions for it, but everything is in-house, so this is coming along. So that is called the Invicta. So 2-stage, 29 millimeter diameter motors. It's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to need some electronics for it. Do you have a question, Jim?
Yeah, are you going to have a package that you sell with the kit?
It's gonna go.
This is just like one of my videos on YouTube. The question was, am I going to have a package? And I assume you mean the electronics.
Roll the credits.
No. Because there's so many electronics that you can use. There's the Featherweight products that we recommend, and we also have our simple timer that will also work. So there's a little bit of choice, but it will come with the parachutes and the eBay and some of the components for the eBay, but not like the E-matches or the mounting hardware. Great question.
It'll all be outlined in your webpage.
Right. It'll be ApogeeRockets.com, where you'll find the information. Since we had that 3-inch diameter nose cone, we said, let's do a Nike Hercules.
Ooh.
So this is our Nike Hercules. Also a 2-stage rocket. So in the bottom we have a cluster of 4 29 millimeter motors. You can also do two 29 millimeter motors. You don't have to do 4. You can either do, it has to be either 2 or 4. And then the upper stage is a single 29 millimeter motor, and it's going to have to be a composite motor because it's a little bit heavy with the nose weight. We've tried to fly the upper stage by itself, and it's marginally stable just by itself. Normally when you fly it as a 2-stage rocket, it's got a lot of forward momentum and it's no problem. We've also canted the fins, these little spin tabs here on the bottom. I think they're canted like 2 to 3 degrees so that it gives it a little spin on the way up to give it a little spin stability. It's a 1 to 1.25 scale version. It also has an eBay in here, so you can put your electronics on the side. We tooled up everything for this, so there's no 3D printed components for this. It has a blow molded tail cone right here, blow molded nose cone. The transition in the middle right here is injection molded. It's going to have a lot of laser cut parts. I'm pretty sure every tube on this is laser cut in one way or another. There's vent holes in here. When you fly it as a cluster of 4, you only need the ejection charge from 2 of the motors, so the other 2 are ejected out through the gaps between the 4 motors right there. The fins are all going to be sheeted, so it's kind of built up like the old style airplane where there's a skeleton on the inside and then you sheet it on the outside. And that gives you the actual, the effect of the real rocket motor where you can actually see the ribs inside of the fins. We're planning on releasing this one late fall, which will be hopefully in November, early December of this year.
What did you fly on Saturday morning?
So on Saturday, I don't remember the upper stage motor, but the lower stage we had a cluster of 4 E12 or E16s. I don't remember what the upper stage was. Martin flew it. We're going to fly it again on Wednesday. It flew nice. It was a beautiful flight, as you saw. Let's see if anything else that I forgot to mention. Also in here, I don't know if this one has it. Yes, it does. You can't see it, but inside of here is another new product that we have called a zipper shield. And the purpose of this is to prevent zippers on the outside of your tubes. And this rocket, when we first flew it, is before we invented the zipper shield. And since we put the zipper shield in, we've never had a zipper. And I purposely tested the zipper shield by having a rocket go over the top, because zippers occur when the rocket is usually coming down at high speed. The parachute comes out and it automatically goes up and open, where the rest of the rocket is still going downwards at a high speed, and it just zippers the side. So I simulated one of those with a BT-80 built rocket, and the zipper was like less than a quarter inch long with the zipper shield. So we're really proud of that. I should have patented it. So it's made out of a very flexible plastic, and it just creates a larger bearing surface area inside the rocket. So those are out, and you can buy them separately. We sell them in a 2-pack, I think for like $5. We're also going to be redesigning some of our older kits with 3D printed components. We've been doing a lot of resin casting in the past, and we'd like to stop doing that because it's labor intensive. So we're going to do 3D printing. This will be a little bit higher quality. Some of the resins out now for 3D printers are incredible. So making that switch kind of makes sense. So we're going to be doing that. I think that's about it for Apogee. Any questions?
What kind of recovery do you have for the booster?
Okay, so the booster stage. It separates right here. here. I think this is a 24-inch nylon parachute inside the booster stage. The tubes are BT60 size, and our 24-inch parachute is an easy fit inside of there. So you can see on the base of that, looks like there's two couplers that go in the tube for the recovery, and then the other two are for the ejection. That pushes the transition off.
The upper stage have a 24-inch chute as well?
I believe it does, yes. So that was, the question was, does the upper stage have a 24-inch chute?
What do you recommend for simultaneous ignition of all four motors in the booster?
Depending on what you're going to use, basically, I've got a video on our website for clustering motors. Basically, what it comes down to is your launch controller. You need a lot of current and a lot of voltage going into those igniters. So if you're using the Estes black powder motors, the E12s, we sell what they call the Firewire minis. They work great because they're a low current and they just snap really fast and they pop.
I have the Voice Aerospace, the smaller version of that, and I use the Spider. Familiar with the Spider? Well, you use tubes. You use a Pyrodex in a small container below the base of the rocket, and then you have tubes that conduct the heat up. It's successful, but it's kind of a pain to put together.
Clustering is usually fine. Did you have a question, Matt?
Yeah, what's the target price for the 19 Hercules?
We haven't said it yet.
I was trying to get my checkbook right.
I hope your checkbook's fat. Question?
Tim, on the Victa, I take it those are plywood through the wall fence?
Right. 1/8-inch plywood through the wall fence. Question over there?
We use the chronos for our 4-H for both the fair, the days G or below, and the L1s. We have 15 kids, and we're adding an upper stage of that dual deploy system from earlier for the kids to do the whole systems. If you're working with youth, it's a good option.
So she's saying that the Kronos is a really good option for people that want to fly with a G or an H. Speaking of the 3-inch, the other thing that we came out with just recently was a 3-inch eBay to go with this snowstone. So if you wanted to take like the Catalyst or the Kronos and make it into a dual deploy, we have the eBay for that.
The electronics to control the ignition of the second stage composite motor, are they in the transition section or are they actually in the sustainer?
They're in the tube. So the transition starts right here and it goes back. And so the electronics are mounted. There's a short body tube right here that they're mounted in.
And that there's like a little screw that keeps that on there?
It's a removable plastic rivet.
Oh.
And that stays on all the time, right?
On our first launch, it did come off. But we're going to redesign the hatch to make sure that hatch stays on during flight. It was kind of weird. Somehow it popped off. It wasn't under thrust. It was right where the ejection happened. So it was kind of trying to figure out exactly what, but we know how to strengthen it. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, thank you, everybody. Yeah, thanks to Vern and Estes too. I started with an Alpha in 1982, and it inspired me, and I ended up working for NASA and making spacecraft, and that whole career, I think, in some ways, started with the very exciting Alpha rocket that I had in 1982. So I came back to it and started making electronics in 2010, and starting with the Featherweight altimeter. And at the time, I was trying to make altimeters that were smaller and collected more data than other altimeters did. And that kind of philosophy has continued. Right now, there are two kind of major products that I'm offering and a bunch of accessories. The two products are the Blue Raven altimeter, which Tim and Logan mentioned, which is it's a small, it's 0.8 inches by 1.6 inches, but it has 4 outputs. It has 2 different accelerometers on it, gyros, Vero. It does attitude sensing, so you can do staging and air starts while checking the tilt. And it's got a whole bunch of other features, very feature-packed. But then one of the nicest things about it is that it's all controlled from your phone. So it uses Bluetooth and an app that has been kind of a big focus of my work over the last couple of years to get the app in shape so that, for example, I fly a 3-stage rocket that has 3 trackers and 5 Blue Raven altimeters in it, and all of them are controlled by this one app where you can check to make sure that everything's ready while you're on the pad. You don't have to worry about, oh, what does 3 beeps followed by 2 beeps mean? It's all just nicely displayed on your phone so that you know when it's ready to launch and you can go. And the other major product is the GPS tracker, which has a very long-range efficient radio so that it can be very small and has a very small battery that lasts a long time. The range on it uses a protocol called LoRa, which stands for long range. It's perfect for this application with very low power. It can, and just an omnidirectional antenna. It's been proven out past 150,000 feet at Falls and in other locations. And so, and that one also is controlled by the app on your phone. There's a little pointer that points to your rocket. It also has a voice that will tell you as your rocket's flying, as it goes through altitude milestones, it'll tell you the vertical velocity when it's descending so you know that your chutes are deployed, and then you can look at a map and have a Google progression so you know right where your rocket is. So basically, everything that I can think of and other people can think of in terms of things that would make life easier, more fun, those are all packed into this app, and still trying to keep it easy to use. So those are the 2 main things that I have to introduce you to if you don't know about them already. So my name is Adrian Adamson. My company is Featherweight Altimeters, and so just one long word. It's very annoying to tell people my email address over the phone, but it's featherweightaltimeters.com. You can go and see those products, and we work pretty hard to make sure that we always keep them in stock. If there's any issues, support at featherweightaltimeters.com goes directly to me. My new wife, Karen, she does the order fulfillment, and so it's basically just a 2-person company right now, but we've been keeping up with, but it's kind of our full-time thing, and things are going great, thanks to your support and the rest of the rocketry community.
Is the app for Android and Apple? Or?
Yes, yeah, they're developed in parallel. They kind of leapfrog kind of from one to the other. Basically, pretty much every other release is kind of for one platform or the other as we introduce new features.
Did you have that?
Price point. Oh, the price point. Yes. So the GPS tracker is $165, the part that flies in the rocket, and then the ground station, which stays in your pocket, is $190. The Blue Raven is $175. The very latest product that we have is I repackaged the Blue Raven into a 1.0 inch diameter circle that you can, if you have, and sorry I didn't bring one to to demonstrate, but basically, all in a 24 millimeter diameter tube, it'll fit in there, or sorry, I mean a 29 millimeter tube, it'll fit in there and only take about ½ inch of length. That's all you need for recording all the data and all that good stuff. Any other questions? All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Yeah, the answer is the Phantom 4000 is coming back again. We originally did this in the early days of the North Coast. It was a very popular kit. When we went to Estes, we redesigned it and included through-the-wall fins, and it was very popular. When I pretty much got North Coast Rocketry back, I really had focused on the 2.6-inch tubes, and most of the kits were based around that. But I got so many requests for the 4-inch stuff that looked really hard about bringing it back, and I'm in the process now of doing it. So the Phantom 4000 is the first of the new revised 4-inch diameter line from North Coast Rocketry. It's significantly different than any of the older versions that you had, so I advise that if you have those tucked away, don't put them up on eBay and get rid of them soon. This is significantly better than that. One of the issues I have, even on the through-the-wall fins, is I've had the fins pop out, and so I've looked at a way similar to the Aerotech kits about how you can kind of lock the fins in, and I have a new method called Gorilla Fin Lock, where the fins are actually slotted, it slides in, and you have an aft coupler that comes in behind on the aft end and locks the fins in so they don't come out like that. My workhorse tester did at least 28 flights until I lost the upper section, so pretty happy with the results. The other thing is for these kits, there's some upgrades. As a 3D printed screw-on motor retainer, that'll come standard. It also comes with launch lugs and rail buttons. So you'll have the opportunity to use whichever you want to do. With the 4-inch kits, I'm actually more comfortable flying those off the rails than the 1/4-inch rod, but we'll have that. So that's out. The Big Archer will be coming back as well. That should be ready early in the fall. And then the Big Brute will be also part of that line. And then I've got some new things coming along the way as well. So, and then I'm working on the SLS, actually redesigned it significantly. If you saw today's flight, it needs a little more work. Roxy said it was stable, but it wasn't stable. So, and actually when I put it together, I left the nose section with the ability to put in weight and said, Roxy says I don't need it. I needed it. So, but I have almost everything lined up as well. So working on some fun stuff besides that. I have a couple other kits in the queue, and it's just a matter of getting time. My real job at Aerotech Rocketry has kept me busy these days. So some stuff coming before Christmas, and appreciate everybody's support.
You have another reissue of the F-117s coming back out?
Not in the immediate future. I'm going to let that. Part of the problem with the F-117 is just the price of Balsa has gone up so much. It was just too expensive to put the Balsa in the kit. So we're looking at some things right now. No, I'm not planning on bringing that back.
Those are all gone?
They are all gone. Been gone since early spring. Yeah.
Legacy, right on the VH 2000. Is there any anticipation of a new larger one of those?
I never did that one in the 4-inch tube, so no. The key with all these kits, because everybody will ask, okay, so these are lightweight 4-inch tubes. These are not for 38 millimeter motors. There's no 38 millimeter conversion. They're not strong enough. Not going to be that way. You probably can fly them on H-142s and H-178s, but this is not high power. This is model rocket 4-inch diameter stuff. So the Laser Hawk that I have out, no, I'm not planning on scaling up, and I'm not moving. The products I'm making are not intended for certified flyers. They're intended for model rockets. Thank Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
I'm Gary Rosenfield with Aerotech, and thank you for supporting us. It's our 42nd year now. And again, thanks Vern and Glita for all you've done for us, for the hobby. We're all here because of you, and it's something you should be very proud of. But really appreciate it. If you don't mind, I would like to walk over here. If you could turn your seats. A little awkward with all this electronics hanging on. So I lost my clicker at Trade Tech, so I ordered another one, but it isn't here in time. So I'll have to do it manually. I'm going to go over some review some things that have gone on, and some of the things we talked about at NARCon. So we had our new facility grand opening, was actually completed last year, but we didn't have it fully outfitted until this year. So that was June 27th. We had over 200 people in attendance, and even Spencer Cox, the Utah governor, made a speech for us, and we televised it while we were there. Bob Sanford was kind enough to give us a presentation on the initiator and how it came to be and the naming of it. And if you want to know about that, I'll let him give you that history on that. We were also honored with Lee Peaster, the founder of Century Engineering, and he gave us a presentation on the history of composite propellant rocketry. And he also, along with several other of us, cut the ribbon. And it was, if you can see the picture there, he's wielding the large scissors. So we gave him that opportunity. That was a lot of fun. It's all kind of a daze for me because it was all, I had just gotten back from spaceport and I had COVID, so I was I was better, but I wanted to make sure everybody was okay, so I had to keep my distance. But it was just a big blur. We had a lot of fun there. There's Bob Stanford is giving me the Initiator #1 kit that he had. That was a big surprise, and we put that in the museum right next to one of the built models, and there's a little plaque there that explains something about that. So the museum is open. The hours are 9 to 4, Monday through Friday, and there's a museum store in there as well. And we hope that if you're on vacation or just coming through for any reason, even just to visit us, we appreciate you coming by and checking it out. So on like a week or two later, we had the Cedar City 4th of July parade. We pulled Dan Michael's full-scale Patriot behind the Cybertruck, and he rode it on a saddle. You can see him there. That was a lot of fun too.
Yeehaw!
So just recapping some of the things we talked about at NARCon, the limited quantity shipping is still big news for the hobby. I love it when I see those boxes going out with those black and white labels. That means, you know, 45, 50 bucks, whatever it is being saved by everybody per box. And we're adding more products. Some of the high power reloads that we're rebagging them so they fit under the limited quantity shipping rule. F-41 Q-jets, those were redesigned with the phenolic nozzle, and those seem to be selling well. Also the classic Interjets, the E-24, the F-67, those seem to be doing well as well. H-14, that was the 1-inch longer version of the H-13, capable of theoretically 20,000 foot altitude. And I'm waiting to hear back on that, on some people flying those. The O-5500, and that's the highest power 98 millimeter motor that's available on the market right now. That's been very successful. And in fact, a number of them were flown at Spaceport. It was really nice to see that. The M2225, that was a super white lightning motor that's very powerful, good for heavy rockets, even on small fields if they're really heavy. That's super white lightning, very bright white flame, brighter than white lightning, but a little less smoke. The N4000 was our first reload for the 98 8 grain or 2480 casing, and that was demonstrated, I believe, at LDRS last year. Then the phaser launch controller you see there, that was a new product. That replaced, I forget what it was called, Q2 controller or something like that. And then we announced our seasonal production plan for 2024. We released that. We received a number of orders. Thank you very much for that. And hopefully we'll be able to do that again next year. So some kind of bad news in a way. We have a bunch of new products on hold that we announced at NARCon. And some of these were held over from even before that. And I won't go into all the details, but the 3 grain 75 millimeter Super Thunder motor that was requested by somebody on the Rocketry forum, that's been certified. You saw that, if you watched the video, you saw that being tested in the tour during NARCon. And we have a single-use Super Thunder J1265, I believe these are all certified. They're just kind of in holding pattern. Short burn, single-use DMS motor, the K62, Warp 9, that's about a 20-some-odd second end burning motor, 54 millimeter, and the N1100 and the N1975 White Lightning motors. Those are both DMS motors. Those are on hold as well. You can see the thrust curves up there. And unfortunately, the $10,000 plus Aerotech Space Challenge is on hold because we wanted to bring out the new reload kits, the new hardware, the new motors that will be affected in that contest. We did get the N2700, which is barely an N, but Tripoli wants us to call it an N because it's barely over. So that one was certified, but you know we're putting that on hold. So we've had greatly increased sales this year, not just hobby product, but we're also doing contract work under our ISP division for government contractors and commercial applications, and that business has just skyrocketed for us. So we're putting all our efforts into taking care of all those orders, taking care of your orders, trying to build up our capacity. There's a tremendous amount of work going on right now. We're up to 40 employees, and it's incredibly busy right now for us. We're doing everything we can to get caught up as we speak. So what's new? Well, some of what's new is what I talked about at NARCon, the 06000. Won't go through all that stuff, but it's an expensive motor, but it's about half the cost of the competitor's equivalent. It is available now, and we've sold some. We've also sold some for an Army R&D program. So you can, if you fly one, you know you're flying the same motor that the Army will be flying. That'll be interesting. I don't know if there's anything else I can talk about it, but when the program's over, I'll see if I can release anything about it. It's actually very, very interesting. You'll probably find it very intriguing. B-14s, as I don't know if I was here, Bill, but Bill has plenty of them. They've been flying for the last couple of days, and hope you enjoy them. We enjoyed developing them. It's like 0.38 second burn time, and we have them in 3, 5, and 7 second delays. They are available now, and they come with the wadding and with the initiators and with the Q-picks to hold them in. It's a cool little motor. Phenolic nozzles, so that we had to keep the nozzle from eroding so that we could keep the pressure up, and that worked really well on that motor, just like the F-41. The I-Launch, some of you have seen it. These are the last prototypes we have before production, so this is the final version. They're pretty cool. The range is advertised at 150 feet, but we know it can be longer than that, and we're going to look to you, to our customers, to tell us what your experience has been with it. It uses a higher power Bluetooth chip, testing it at a range of 600 meters. So we'll see. You know, in a real world situation, I'll be happy if it's a couple hundred feet. Includes a Velcro strap that you can use to attach to your launcher pad, or any structure that's nearby your launcher. And has an automatic 5-second countdown that you hold down on the phone before your rocket gets launched. And there's 6 interlock systems involved, including the mechanical interlock. So the initial price will be $79.99, and I'd recommend that if you want one, try to get one as soon as you can after it's announced that it's available, because probably within a short time we're going to raise the price to $100. So we're anticipating availability roughly September, October time. Things take longer. You know, it's just, we're running probably about a year late on this product, but we wanted to make sure it was right. So we've been through a lot with this. Okay, again, I hate coming back and saying, you know, this is not available yet. We're really working on this stuff. I promise that we're going to start finishing up the instructions on this after I get back from NARAM. But the classic Enerjet Nike Ram was reimagined by Bob Stanford, and you can see all that there. It's going to be $29.99 retail, hopefully available in the fall, this fall. A little bit of concerning news, international news. I made an announcement on the internet a few days ago, but just to bring everybody up to speed, this does not affect domestic sales or shipping, but what happened was in 2019, there was a big change for hobby rocketry for us, in that prior to that time, the State Department had not regulated any of our product that was hobby related, and we had a letter to support that. But the State Department contacted us and wanted us to file what they call a new commodity jurisdiction request for these products, which we did under compulsion, actually. And I don't know what would have happened if we didn't do it, but anyway, they came back and they gave us a split decision where they said, well, okay, your motors with 5 pounds of propellant or less, they're still exempt. Okay. But over that, now they're regulated by the government for export. So that kind of threw a lot of things into a spin. We started having to get State Department licenses for all our larger than 5-pound motors. And as is my nature, I like to try to find either loopholes or try to get around some of these regulations. So I started working on what became the M2050, which was a Propellant X motor for people internationally who didn't want to go through all this rigmarole of getting the licensing, and we could do an M motor for under 5 pounds of propellant. So that was the genesis of that. So there's a bunch of paperwork that needs to be filed when you do these State Department licenses, and there's time involved. It can take weeks to months to even a year to get the license. So the problem is that I don't think the State Department realized that when we sell to a dealer, they're not necessarily what they consider to be the end user. The end user is the customer flying the rocket motor. So in one of the more recent applications we sent out, they wanted to know, hey, who are all the people flying these things? Well, so we redid the license and put on, in this case it was only 2 people, it was a very small order. But we ended up having to file this thing 4 times because of so-called errors or missing information or information they wanted in addition. And we just decided that what if some of our other dealers come to us and they're selling to 100 people? We are not going to file the paperwork for 100 users. So we've decided that it's an unacceptable burden for us, that we're going to request the international dealers to do kind of like what we did during the ATF time, which was you rent the motor, you rent the service, you keep control of the product. And so that's what we're going to do. That's the change, and moving forward. So there is one more thing, not a big thing. Stainless steel launch rod, 2-piece. And this is a really cool piece of hardware. It fits really well. Stainless steel threaded launch rod. It'll be in all the new Quest, the Quest liftoff launch pad, the Quest launch sets, and the Quest starter sets. And we're not going to charge any more on the starter sets, and these are available now. That's a beautiful piece of machining, and we were so glad to get these because we'd been using an old machine that apparently was an old Estes machine that ended up getting used by Centuri and then was handed down over the years and over the years. And this was the most temperamental machine we've ever had, and we were just so glad to be able to get rid of it. We should probably just sell it as a collector's item. Yes, it is. So in summary, the limited quantity shipping, still big news for our hobby. New facility is operational and we are hiring. I put out a job announcement a while back, not too long ago, a few days ago actually, for, I can't even remember now, purchasing agent. Museum of Composite Propellant Hobby Rocketry is open. The museum store is open now. And also thank you for any of you that have contributed to the museum. It's and we're still getting contributions to that. And many new announced products were on hold due to high demand for existing products. We have the B14, the 06000, and the 8-inch threaded launch rod available right now. And the iLaunch and the Nike Ram are still planned for 2024 release. International sales will be a little more difficult, and I want to make sure I mention that Dane Bowles, Carl Bauman, Jeremy Nelson, Kyle Anderson, and the entire Aerotech Quest RCS team. I want to thank them for helping to bring all these products to reality and for making our business a success, as well as all our customers. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions. Yes.
The new 8-inch rod, are you going to come out with a 1/4-inch rod? Same thing?
We have it. Oh, well,
It's stainless steel?
that's a good question. Maybe, but we have the aluminum rod, which is pretty good.
But it's not stainless steel.
It's not stainless steel. You want a stainless steel one? Okay, well, we'll talk about it. 3/16. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
And 4 feet long.
Not 5 feet. 4 feet on 3/16. Yeah, well, I thought I mentioned it. Yeah, Bill has plenty of them. Plenty.
And it launched very nicely. I launched one prematurely on the countdown because I just feather touched the launch one.
That was the one that launched at 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we were saying
That was me.
they're so fast they go on count of 3.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions?